Guys, I'm back once again with another video. Today, I'm here with the ambassador of Ethiopia to Ghana, and we want to know more about Ethiopia and our Africa country as well. So whilst he's here, I would like him to mention his name for us and learn more about the Ethiopian country as well. Say please your name.
My name is Asai Alamayo, and I'm Ethiopian ambassador, deputy head of mission. Today we are participating in the ceremony, and we are happy to be here.
So I know today is the birthday of our father, the legend, the founder of Ghana, Dr. S.K.M. And Ethiopia coming to Ghana. What is the relationship between Ghana and Ethiopia? What are some of the things that S.K.M. has done to Ethiopia that this day Ethiopia remember Ghana, not Ghana alone, but S.K.M. on this special day that you want to share with us?
Thank you. This is a very broad question, actually. Yes, Ghana and Ethiopia, they do have a very historical relationship. It goes back before the Nkrumah and Haile Selassie relationship, because there were many bad times that Ethiopia was facing. If I mention you, some of Ghanaians were fighting with Ethiopia during the colonization period. Italy was trying to colonize Ethiopia, even though they didn't succeed. By then, Ghanaians have devoted themselves, even their lives, they have been buried in Ethiopia. And they were fighting in international forums like in UK and other things. And then comes Ethiopia as a country alone in the League of Nations without any African countries. Ethiopia, mainly Haile Selassie, was fighting to liberalize more other African countries so that we can have our brothers and sisters to stand together. Luckily, Haile Selassie has been successful. What I mean is Africa has been successful. He was just trying his best, actually. And then he got his brother Nkrumah. It comes from there. Then Haile Selassie and His Excellency Nkrumah, they fought for African liberalization. They fought for African economic independence. They fought for African unity. By then, African Organization of African Unity, actually. And if you remember, establishment of Organization of African Unity was in a problem by then, because this Casablanca and Monrovia group was fighting. Then it was Haile Selassie and Nkrumah with other their colleagues, actually. They did their level best and they managed to bring Africa together. So the relationship between Ethiopia and Ghana goes beyond bilateral relationship. You can say it has established multilateral relationships. That's why we have African Union today. So it's very strong, very historical. One of the leaders of Ethiopia and the first leader after independence of Ghana, they have done a lot. And when we, even this time, the generation in Ethiopia, when we think about Ghana, we always think the two. But the point is, actually, we have to go further, we have to work hard, and economic integration has to be, has to go beyond the political unity. Politically, we are very harmonious, we are very friendly, but the trade relationship, the investment relationship, and other things have to be worked out, and we have to strengthen. For this, actually, African Free Continental Trade Area, CFTA, that will play a pivotal role, and we are working in that regard to further strengthen the relationship in economic terms. Okay. Otherwise, Ethiopia and Ghana, very nice relationship, and embracing all other African countries.
For now, you being the ambassador, I want to ask this question. What must Africans do to unite for things that S.K.M. was fighting for over years before he passed on? What should we do as an Africans for us to unite and become one? What should we do?
Many things. The first is cultural revolution, I will say, because culture goes, through everything. Culture goes to the politics, culture goes to the economics, culture goes to the technology, culture goes to the trade and what have you. Then Africa has to change its culture. African leaders and brothers have to change their culture and say Africa can stand by itself. Everyone should not run to either the west or to the east or to the other countries. It has to emanate the source. Every source has to be from Africa. If we try to say that we are fully independent and we can manage by ourselves, and then the relation will be very strong in trade, in investment, in technology, especially these indigenous technologies, and then Africa will be very proud by itself. So what I will say strongly is cultural changes, the main one. When I say culture, I don't mean that that's a formal culture I mean, but the way of doing things, the way of feeding, the way of dressing, the way of thinking, the philosophy itself, it has to emanate from Africa. We should not point to the others. The problem is whenever we have problems in Africa, many of us, what we say is if a country faces a problem, what we say, it is the West that did, or some countries that did, or the colonizers that did. No, we have to fight by ourselves, and we should not give loopholes for them, and we have to be harmonious. If we do that one, everything is full-fledged in Africa. Africa can stand by itself. But the problem is we always think our lunch, after eating breakfast here, our lunch we are thinking outside. In that sense, what I mean is, if you take the borrowing and other things, we are always just wagging our tails because we are thinking that they will help us, they will support us, they will lend us. If we don't break that one, always we will be chased by their, quit or loan and what have you. We cannot stand by ourselves. So we have to break that cycle.
Okay. Now we have AU, African Union, and they are also working hard to promote or to make Africa great and to use the word, to challenge the Western world. Now, what are some of the things that the African Union have to put in place, or how should they work harder to unite we the Africans, because others are calling to, take away the borders that we have. Let's say Ghana to Togo, we have border. It should be border free for Africa, Ghana and Togo to make things one. And when you are going to Togo, you don't have to change Ghana money from here to other countries. What should the African Union do? Or is there anything that the African Union are not doing which is not helping other African countries that they have to improve on that?
Yeah, there are lots of things African Union has to do and is doing actually. Okay. It's doing, but the problem still is, I will say what I have said earlier. African Union itself is supported by the West, by other countries, by China, and of course they have done. It is China who built the building for African Union in Addis Ababa. So if you are taking your bread from somebody else, and then you cannot say no. So the point is, not only African Union, African leaders themselves should be determined, and they should come out of being supported by the others. As far as you are supported, it's very difficult to say no for their questions and what have you, for their interest, I mean. Because while you are looking for lunch and then refusing something, it doesn't go. There is no free lunch in this world. So what it has to start is here. African Union probably, it has to do some projects and other things to generate by itself the fund, research things and what have you. It depends all in all for the fund. If the fund is coming from outside, it's very difficult to say, I am liberal and I am independent and what have you. No, you cannot. Colonization this time is through economy, through culture and what have you. There is no political colonization.
So there's no colonization in politics?
In politics, there is no, because time has passed. But the problem is, politics is in economy itself. Politics doesn't come as it is. They don't come with soldier. Okay. They come with currency. That's their soldier. They come with their films, the culture and what have you. That's their soldier. So we have to break that one. We have to allocate our own budget and then minimize their intervention through budgeting and what have you. So African Union has to just bring all other leaders together to contribute what they can. Africa has enough source.
Sure.
Enough source. So the way how that resource will be manipulated, African Union has to help. And we have very nice intellectuals here and there. They have to embrace them. They have to have their own projects and then liberalize Africa by economy, by the culture and what have you. After that, everything is simple. Otherwise, just talking once in a year or whatever in the assembly, but there is no result. Still, we are back to the West. So, still, the root is the economy. The root is the budget. So, African Union has to do more and more to bring the leaders together to contribute their share for the budget. It should stop taking budget from the other countries.
My last question, what are some of the things that we Ghanaians, we need to know about Ethiopia that we don't know? Can you tell us anything about Ethiopia? How special Ethiopia is? As you are in Ghana here, what are some of the beautiful things that you would tell any Ghanaian person about Ethiopia?
Yeah, that's a very broad and nice question. Ethiopia is very peculiar in its everything actually. It starts, as I said you earlier, from the history itself. Historically, it's the only country. If some say Liberia, for some reasons, even though some argue, Ethiopia is the only independent country in Africa. Ethiopia is the only country that give training and whatever for freedom fighters like Mandela and Hararian leader who passed away, the late leader, and others even. In that sense, historically, Ethiopia is very, very unique. And Ethiopia was the only African country that was in the League of Nations when the League of Nations was established. Okay. So globally, African-wise, historically, it is unique. But when we come to recent ones, Ethiopia is very unique. One, in its culture.
Okay.
If I start for you, just what comes to my mind, our calendar is different, for example.
Calendar, sure.
This time, it is our first month. It starts in September. We follow Julian calendar.
Jewish calendar.
Yeah, the others follow Gregorian calendar, you know. So everybody counts starts the year in January, but Ethiopia in September.
September.
Yeah, to your surprise, this year in Ethiopia, it is 2017.
Wow.
What is it here? 2024.
Yes.
But in our case, it's 2017.
2017, wow.
So if you go to Ethiopia, you will be younger for 7 years. Huh?
I think from here, I have to see you so that we talk more about that.
Very good. The point is, Ethiopia has 13 months.
13.
Yeah, the other one has 12, right?
Yeah.
How? Because every month is equally divided 30 days, 33 or. Okay. But you remain 5 or 6 depending on leap year. So that remaining one is the 13 months. So that is why Ethiopian tourism says when promoting Ethiopia, 13 months of sunshine. Okay. Because the sun is throughout. You have 12 months of sunshine, right? Ethiopia has 13 months of sunshine. That's the difference. And the feeding, the dressing, and what have you can see here. We have peculiar things. Addis Ababa is very unique. We have very historical areas to visit, and we have developments. Economically too, we are doing good. And Africa, Addis Ababa especially, this time is fascinatingly changing. So there are lots of things, my brother. We can have time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay.